I always believed I knew the man I married. Daniel was charming, steady, and made me feel safe. We had been together for 7 years, and I thought we'd weathered enough storms to trust the calm that followed. But last winter, that calm broke in a way I never imagined. It started small, with subtle changes. He stayed late at work more often, his phone glued to him even when he was home. I brushed it off as stress. Then one night, while he was in the shower, his phone buzzed. A name flashed across the screen I didn't recognize. I shouldn't have looked, but something inside me told me I needed to. The message was simple: last night was unforgettable. When can we see each other again? My blood froze. I put the phone down, my hands trembling, and pretended nothing happened when he came out, smiling like nothing was wrong. That night, I lay awake beside him, staring at the ceiling, wondering if my entire marriage had been a lie. The next morning, I tried to convince myself it was all a misunderstanding. Maybe it was work-related, maybe a prank, maybe anything but what my heart already knew. But the way Daniel grabbed his phone the second he woke up, shielding the screen from me, told me everything. For days, I watched him carefully. Every time his phone lit up, his face changed, a quick smile, a spark in his eyes I hadn't seen directed at me in months. He'd take calls in the other room, his voice lowered, laughing softly in ways I hadn't heard in a long time. I started noticing other things too. He smelled of a different perfume, faint but unmistakable. His shirts came home wrinkled, his excuses rehearsed but shallow. When I asked why he was distant, he brushed it off, just tired, babe. Work's been crazy. But the worst part wasn't the lies. It was how I started doubting myself, questioning if I'd done something wrong, if I'd failed to keep his love. I replayed every argument, every missed date night, wondering if this was somehow my fault. And yet, beneath the pain, a quiet anger began to grow. I needed to know the truth, no matter how much it hurt. So I decided to follow him. That Friday, Daniel told me he was working late. His voice was steady, but his eyes flickered, just for a second, enough for me to know he was lying. I waited until he left, then grabbed my coat and slipped into the night, following his car at a safe distance. My heart pounded with every turn, my hands trembling on the wheel. After 20 minutes, he pulled into a small restaurant on the edge of town, not a place he'd ever take me. I parked across the street, my stomach twisting as I watched him step out of the car. Then she appeared, a tall brunette, dressed elegantly, smiling like she owned the night. Daniel's face lit up in a way it hadn't for me in years. He leaned in, kissed her cheek, and together they walked inside, laughing like they had the world to themselves. I felt the air leave my lungs. My chest tightened, tears burned my eyes, but I forced myself to keep watching. I needed this. I needed proof. Because once you see it with your own eyes, there's no going back. That night, sitting in my car outside that restaurant, I realized something. The man I thought I knew, the man I trusted, was already gone, and now, it was up to me to decide what to do with the pieces of my broken heart. The next morning, I acted like nothing happened. I made breakfast, kissed him on the cheek, and pretended his lies hadn't shattered me the night before. He smiled, sat down, and told me about his long night at work. Every word cut deeper, but I stayed silent. I needed time. I needed to think. But I also needed to see just how far his betrayal went. So, I started digging. His phone, his laptop, little pieces of truth hidden in plain sight. Messages filled with affection, dinner reservations, even hotel bookings. The world I thought I lived in crumbled with every click. At night, I'd lie beside him, his arm draped over me like nothing was wrong, while my mind replayed the sound of his laughter with her. My body was there, but my heart had already pulled away. I wasn't just hurt, I was angry. Angry that he thought I was blind. Angry that he underestimated me. And as that anger grew, so did a quiet determination. I wasn't going to confront him yet. Not until I was ready. Because this time it wouldn't be me begging for answers, it would be him begging for forgiveness. And I wasn't sure I'd ever give it. The breaking point came one Friday night. He told me again he'd be working late, but I followed him instead. My heart pounded as I watched him walk straight into her arms outside a fancy restaurant. They kissed, laughed, and disappeared inside together like I never even existed. I stood there in the cold, shaking, not from sadness anymore, but from a surge of power I didn't know I had. The truth wasn't just in my hands now, it was carved into my soul. And I knew exactly what I had to do. The next day, I packed my things. No screaming, no begging, no second chances. I left a single note on the kitchen table: I know everything. Don't bother finding me. As I walked out the door, I felt lighter than I had in months. My tears had dried, replaced with a fire in my chest. He thought he broke me, but he only set me free. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't scared of tomorrow. I was ready for it.